Wow. Welcome back, everyone. An 18-minute game by Team Liquid to go up in the series 1-0. Absolutely phenomenal. I want to know your guys' thoughts, but not yet. Because for our halftime show, we are going to be playing the newly duo game to see how much you two know about each other.
Uh,
Last week... Oh, go ahead.
I've never played this game.
All right, well, I'll
What
play.
what is, what
I'm
is,
here
what
to...
is this?
I'm
Are
here
you
to
scared?
explain it.
Scared to
I'm
change?
Don't
scared.
worry.
I'm very scared of change.
Doshi, I think you should be the one that's scared of
Sure.
everyone here, because last week Deserex got everything right about you, and I believe you got, what was it, 2 out of 6 right
I
in
think it was
return?
3. I think it was 3. You know, it's not bad. At least one of them Eric answered incorrectly, I remember. He said that
Oh.
the favorite thing about Academy was not casting with me, so...
Oh, right,
That's
right.
kinda weird.
I mean, after last week, I'm not sure. But for the rules, Magical, as well as everyone at home, I am going to ask Magical, I'm going to ask you a question about Joshi that's related majority of the time to the game. Then Joshi is going to write down his answer. After that, I'm going to ask you to tell me the answer to what I asked you. What's Joshi's favorite breakfast food? And then you're going to answer. Joshi's going to reveal, and then we'll either celebrate for being right or we'll give you some big boos if you're wrong. Make sense?
Sounds good.
Sounds good? All right.
Reese's
all right.
Puff. You said favorite breakfast, so I'm going with Reese's Puffs.
All right, that
Not
wasn't our
even close.
also
Reese's
not
Puff,
our first
Reese's
question,
Puff.
so we're doesn't count. We're good.
Okay.
We're good. All right.
All
So
right.
first question to start it off. We talked a lot about the fact that this could be a close matchup. It could be a really good matchup, and that's not what we saw. Why was TL so dominant in our first game?
Yeah, has he already written
Okay.
it? Okay. So
No, hold on,
No,
hold
no,
on.
no, no, not yet. No,
I
you
don't
gotta
know the
give it-
questions until you
He's
know
gotta,
them.
he's gotta, he's
Okay.
gotta write it down first. So.
See, this is what I'm talking about. I need clear instructions because I'm brain dead.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And this is magical, by the way. This is why TL was
ready.
so dominant according to Joshi. So it's not your opinion time. It's Joshi's opinion time, and you
Yeah,
just gotta
that's
get it
fine.
right. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
All right. All right, Joshi, you ready? You
I'm
good?
ready.
All right, magical.
I'm ready.
What was the reason TL was
Yawn.
so dominant in first game? All right, Joshi, reveal it.
It's a yawn div.
Yo.
That's it. It's a yawn div.
Look, that one was that was a gimme point because you can't argue against how dominant Yon was that game.
All right. All right. So then, now we know why there is a difference. For our second question, according to Joshi, what was the most impactful play of the game?
Most impactful play of the game.
Yeah. Oh,
Huh.
a little reflection time here.
I
Okay.
think I got one, but I don't know if Josh would choose this one.
All right.
Okay,
Never
hold on.
mind. Well, you're trying to get the same one. as
Right, I
Josh.
know. That's why I'm like trying to think of another play, but this is the only one that's like sticking out in my mind that was just so important.
After the game, I'll ask about your pits because I'm curious about the game. But for right
Okay,
now, it's
okay.
all about Joshi.
I actually think that Magical is not going to guess the same one that I wrote down.
Okay.
All right. Magical,
So-
which do you think was most impactful according to Yoshi?
I think it was the play where Arrow and Joey were trying to recall, and there was a bit of a desync, and Yon and Ayla were able to jump over and stop Joey's back alone and kill him.
That's the answer I thought you were going to give. It's a reasonable
Ah.
answer, but I actually think it's this one because this is the one where he doesn't just find the one kill. Killing Joey was nice, but this is the one where he gets like 3 back to back.
Yeah,
he goes
and
from being
he's diving,
mildly
yeah.
fed to being impossible to deal with.
Yeah, I should have stuck with
Yeah,
my
it's
gut
a-
because I'm like, when you said it's like, oh, it's
That's a
not the
good
one you're
answer.
thinking of, then I'm like, oh, this mid lane play is not the one. It's got to be this other one.
Trust your gut. Trust your
you
gut.
second
Mental
guess
game.
yourself.
You mental gamed me.
Don't let Yoshi throw you off your game. Go with your
He
gut,
mental gamed me.
magical.
He
All
mental
right.
gamed me.
All
I can't
right.
believe you've done this.
All right. So next one. This one could be really easy. Could be difficult. It's we'll see. Most surprising performance of the game, good or bad, according to Joshi.
Ooh.
Most surprising.
Expect the unexpected sort of vibe. This is where we need some really
Okay.
good, intense music. I feel.
I have one.
Yeah. There's an interesting answer, but I'm ready.
All right, Magical. Let's hear it.
Hayri.
Most surprising performance.
Hayri.
Ooh, wrong again.
Oh,
It was Jan. Right?
Okay.
He was okay. Look, we know Jan is good, but we don't think. I didn't think he was
That's not
ending the game at
surprising.
18.
After
What are
that
you talking
performance,
about?
that I'm not gonna say. Feel cheated.
Harry just played like everybody else
Cheated.
on Team Liquid. Just kind of did their jobs, right? They did what they were supposed to, and that's.
I've been robbed.
That's
I've been
good.
robbed.
That's good.
All right. So we've talked about Team Liquid a lot in this. So the next one we're going to focus specifically on Immortals, okay? And it's all about development. We're going to focus on a good part of this. Who stepped up the most or had the best performance on Immortals, or at least something you saw something positive of in that first game? According to Joshi.
Okay. This is an easy answer.
Okay.
I'm
I think
pretty
Magical
sure.
needs a gimme answer,
I'm
so. All right, Magical,
Well,
which
the thing
is
is, I'm torn between two.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Pretty.
Ooh. Fortunately not. My answer
Was it Vital?
Vital.
Yep, Vital was my
It was
secondary.
Vital.
Vital was my second.
Yeah.
That's why I said I was
Vital
torn between
actually-
two. He did really well
Yeah,
in that
Vital-
game, so that's why I'm like, okay, I could make an argument for either of these players. That's a rough one.
Oh.
Yeah. I feel like Pretty did fine, but he didn't necessarily overperform our expectations, right? Like, he did all right in the mid
That
lane,
is
whereas
true.
Vital, I was saying, was like, this might be the one place where Immortals can actually attack Team Liquid, and, you know, typically it's been other people helping out their top laners against Bradley, but this time Vital did it mostly on his own.
That is true.
That's fair. Okay. All right. We're gonna breeze through this one because this one should be a gimme answer. Magical. This is me throwing you a lifeline. Okay.
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 All right. The player that Joshi is most excited about.
He's most excited about.
Yes.
All right, I'm done.
It's a very easy
for,
one. Come on.
For both teams or for
No,
Immortals?
for either team.
Jan.
Oh, okay, I definitely did. What?
No, not after that game. If you're not most excited about Jan after one,
This
you're
is
you're
this is
answering
just
wrong.
general.
No,
Joshi's
no,
been
no,
talking about Isla nonstop
Nope,
since the
and-
second we got on.
We haven't
look,
we
I-
haven't
I-
had a meeting where I haven't been fanboying over Ayla this entire season.
Yeah. You
I'll be honest, I'm usually half checked out when Josh is talking.
Okay. This is oh, Joshi, show your screen. Don't show it quite yet.
I
Unless
don't
you're...
wanna.
You're just out of here.
Magical doesn't want to listen to me.
Okay. All right. Well, I feel
What's going
like.
on? Sorry, I checked out for a sec.
All right. Well, this is gonna be our final question,
Josh, I love
and it
you. I'm just
feels
messing with you.
this one feels really bad on the heels of everything that's happened so far. Magical. What is Joshi's favorite thing about you?
Is there something?
I don't know after this,
ready.
honestly.
I know, right? That's what I'm like. If I were him, I'd say nothing.
All right. What's your answer? Joshi's favorite thing about you?
Personality. Fuck it.
Yo, this is this is basically the same thing.
Quacking. Yep. That's good enough.
That's personality. That's the.
That's Alex's personality. We're there.
I mean, let's be
Yeah.
honest. That is half my personality is quacking.
Yeah, that was the first thing I got to know about you, Magical. So we'll say that's correct. So congratulations, you got
Woo!
2 out of 6 correct.
Let's go.
So as
Let's
bad as
go.
Joshi did last week.
And I'll get a fine too. It's all good.
That didn't happen. No, I mean, I feel like this newly duo game was the perfect embodiment of how the game went. Something that we thought was going to be pretty even on all scales was just pretty one-sided. Team Liquid coming out here for a fight.
Wait.
And
I've been informed.
oh,
That was my one for the split, so I'm fine.
one for the split.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
Everybody gets one. Nice. I mean, all right. Well, We'll move on.
Look,
we'll move
it
on.
was fun. That was fun. You can all clip it. But let's talk. Like you said, Zero. Let's talk about these teams.
Let's talk about this game. Yeah, let's talk about this one. You already used your 1-up, so you can't use that to describe this game at all. 18 minutes. Team Liquid looking for a fight. I mean, my hot take after week 2, going undefeated, Joshi.
Looking pretty darn good. I said it was going to be a fighting 2-0. That's not quite what I meant when I said a fighting 2-0, because there was a lot of fighting, but it was kind of one-sided. Please stop hitting me.
So, just ban Zeri. Just get rid of it.
Good start.
That, or if you're going to be on blue side again, pick it first.
Well, we'll see. Champ Select's ready. That is definitely a way to get yourself some sort of advantage heading into this second game. Good luck, Immortals. Good luck, you two. I'll see you on the other side.
Well, all right. Thanks, Sierra. Let
Bye,
us
Sierra.
dive into this next game. It is our last one for this day. Obviously, there's more action going on twitch.tv/academy for you to watch. But we got to see if Immortals can bounce back after quite a devastating loss. The fastest match we've had in this season so far. We got to do the math to see if it's the fastest in Academy history.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will fact check us. I'm sure it's already in Twitch chat. You guys know before we do. But the rest of it is looking pretty darn good. I feel like as we look towards the rest of this, you have to pay attention to what Immortals are going to do to try and stop the bleeding. Because while we know Yon and Ayla are a very good bottom lane, we weren't expecting them to be ending the game in 18 minutes good, right? Like,
No.
That's not supposed to be happening, especially against Arrow and Joey, who are supposed to be one of our better laning bot lanes.
I think it all boils down to Zeri. With that Senna ban, to me, indicates they understand that they're willing to first pick Zeri if Team Liquid don't ban it themselves.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely something that we know Arrow can play. You kind of have to be able to play it. The champion is very strong, but there are other kind of prepared counter picks. And as we look forward to this, right, Team Liquid is a team that we've constantly been looking at as a team that is going to try and get all of their players to LCS. Spawn, their coach, takes it very personally every single time Team Liquid Academy players don't get an offer to an LCS team. And if that's not an argument for why these guys are going to be in LCS, I don't really know what else you can do. They picked up the Renata, and that's not really an answer to the Zeri. I feel like Team Liquid are once again about to get away with almost the exact same draft if they want to take it.
I think so as well. With the Zeri locked in pretty fast for Yon, I'm really hoping that Arrow does have some sort of ace up the sleeve, because after that last performance, unless you're sending Chad bot lane repeatedly, trying to punish Zeri when she's most vulnerable, when she can't just dash around the battlefield, this is already looking like it's trending towards the exact same result as Game 1.
Yeah, and we have to continue thinking about, like, how else did everybody perform? Okay, please lock it in. I'm still excited about this, but it's a different kind of excitement. Something that is going to fight, something that is going to turn up the variance, something that you're confident you're actually going to win on. This is a pick that has been so popular everywhere except North America. Europe has been loving this pick. We've been seeing in other minor regions across the world. Twitch is a champion that can fight, and you know if he gets a single kill, he can take over the game.
And this is something that has actually been, like, rumored amongst, like, the different chats that I'm a part of with all the Academy players, where they're like, yeah, Twitch, be on the lookout for Twitch. It's a possible Twitch angle here. And we haven't seen it. It's been just not there for a while. And here, it's locked in, and that is a volatile bot lane now.
That is very exciting, right? Twitch still, because his damage is so backloaded, it makes a lot of sense that you're pairing it up with the Renata, because he just needs to get that expunge there at the very end, looking for the opportunity to get that first kill. Now, we'll take a look at the rest of the draft. We'll come back to this Twitch here in a bit, because I do want to focus on the fact that Vital and Bradley have opted into the same matchup once again. And, you know, while Bradley continued to have his undefeated streak on this champion, it's still an opportunity. Vital looked better than Bradley at this last game. And if that's something where Bradley runs into another issue, if Era and Joey can actually take the hurt to Yon and Ayla, could become an issue for them later in the game.
Well, the lane phase was pretty dire for Bradley. It was a long time before Armeo visited that top lane when Vital had overextended, probably playing a little too greedily because he had been punishing Bradley so consistently beforehand that he was able to even pick up that first kill against him. So seeing that they're going back to it, I'm not surprised on either side of the equation. Bradley might feel a little bit more confident and know the limits playing against Figura, while Vital also might be testing out the limits and say, you know what, your gangplank is vulnerable. I can punish you. It'll all just boil down to what the jungle matchup now is.
Yeah, the Jarvan ban's also interesting, right? Because the Wukong ban coming through from Team Liquid once again. The Rengar is banned away. We saw the Kindred from Chad, and it didn't really have much of an appearance in that last game. He wasn't able to get off any of the early ganks, and the early game that Chad has been known for never materialized. So as Team Liquid moves towards the rest, they have lots of range to play with, but the things they're potentially missing are another strong side laner or engage tools, right? They can kind of play both ways where they wait for Twitch to come on in, but one of the best ways to deal with Twitch is whenever he goes, aha, it's me, is you just jump on him and just take him down almost instantly. Gangplank can do that. Zeri can't most of the time, depending on how strong she is.
Well, that's why I think we're seeing a lot of those engaged junglers being banned. Wukong, Diana, both taken away from Chad, things that he's played. The Rengar, long gone. We expect that to be banned. It's probably going to be permanently banned for a while against Chad. What we're seeing is just double load of the jungle bans from both sides of the team. With Trundle being available for Armeo, I wonder if that's what they fall back to, but then it kind of leans into what you were talking about. How do they efficiently jump onto that Twitch at that point?
Yeah, I mean, again, you can either outrange it, which is a little bit tough whenever he's ulting, or you can jump on it. And so this is definitely their opportunity to kind of showcase how strong they are. They have a lot of different options, and the Volley Bear can also just be like, oh, okay, hello, jump on the rat. So there's still places for them to play there, but I feel like Immortals have already put together a team composition that is very easy to pilot in terms of playing around the Twitch, whereas Team Liquid, they need to find advantages in order to really punish this.
Looks like Chad probably going back to Viego like he had done previously in other series. The Kindred not performing to the same level that we'd want to see. Plus, this time Viego not being banned makes it a little easier for Chad to play. This is also like a Chad special, even if it is sort of in the meta. Look back to when they had that win streak at the beginning of spring. It was a lot off the back of Chad playing Viego.
Yeah, and Proving Grounds, we continue to see it, right? The matchup against Immortals and 100 Thieves Academy, where Chad versus Kenvi happened all the time. It was Viego Lee Sin, right? We know that this is another set of champions that Chad loves to play. He can be aggressive on this early on. And the biggest thing he needs to do this time is create space. He needs to make sure that Arrow and Joey are feeling comfortable down in the bottom lane. We know it can be aggressive there. We're seeing the exact same matchup in the mid lane. Harry came up in this a little bit better than Pretty did, as we typically expect from the way that Harry plays. He's just such a strong laner, but this is his opportunity to potentially turn on the Twitch instantly every single time Harry shows.
But here, to me, it's also a good indication of what was lacking from Team Liquid, as you had pointed out. The fact that they were lacking that hard engage onto Twitch. While looking at the other side, I'm not seeing that reliable engage onto the other side, trying to see if they can create space for Twitch outside of, the Azir and Renata. And those aren't necessarily the most reliable tools, especially if you're like Yone and can just jump over them and not even have to worry about them.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's lots of opportunities for both sides to kind of play around both teams in very unique ways. Almost every single person on both teams has opportunities to try and skill check their opponents in. If I had to be a betting man, I would bet on Team Liquid. They've been coming out ahead on this pretty consistently. They only had one day where they slipped up against Counter Logic Gaming. For a team that's trying to get all their players to move on up, this is their opportunity to showcase that when you take this volatile game, they're still going to come out ahead.
Well, the fact that Immortals are still willing to let Jan and Ayla play the exact same bot lane, to me, is the baffling thing.
We'll see if it's going to be good enough. And as we start loading onto the Rift here at Magical, we will have to pay attention to whether or not they can be as dominant, right? Renata is not as mobile as with the Tahm Kenchus. They don't have any dashes, but there's still shields, there's still ways for Jan to try and run it down, and there's still some difficulties for Immortals to actually try and take down Jan once he starts getting the ultimate passive stacks stacked up. But similar thing as we saw last game, Vital and Chad moving towards the top, seeing if Bradley is going to overextend, but it doesn't seem likely that either team is going to be too aggressive yet.
There's no stacking up in this top lane as we dive into the second game, where it was a dominant Game 1 performance by Team Liquid. They just go for the same tried and true line of scrimmage setup as Immortals essentially do the same. They do put an early ward topside so that Chad can recall, switch it out to the sweepers, but it's really not that big of an advantage they're gaining over the side of Team Liquid, nor do they really get information on where Armeo is starting outside of Armeo just hanging out in mid for some reason.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the standard thing, right? If this is where you used to send your jungler when you were trying to hide where they were actually going to start. So Team Liquid, oh boy, they're doing the thing to Chad that Chad does to others.
Yeah, they are looking to bully them around since it's low health bars on the side of both Twitch and Bernata. Easily punished if you can jump on top of them, and with that sweeper spotting out that there's movement coming in from Team Liquid, Immortals are playing defensively, waiting it out, and seeing if they can stick to this red buff, not wanting to forfeit it over to Armeo's hands. The smite is secured by Armeo.
Okay, good stuff. Chad, for the first time this split, is going to be behind in his jungle pathing, and Armeo, level 2,
Nice
spots out
ward
Chad
too.
as well.
Armeo, this is something we tended to see a lot of Armeo when he was first playing, back when he went by Grig. He was a big controlled jungler. He liked to make sure right out of the gates, he knew exactly where the opponent was going to path. He had full control and full knowledge and essentially manipulated them to do his bidding.
Yeah, and this is definitely a situation, right, where Chad, he was looking for opportunities to be aggressive and help out his bottom lane. He can't do that if he's losing his red buff, if he's losing control of his own side of the jungle. And Yon, hitting level 2 first, is now already looking to be aggressive. And I feel like something that we kind of have to note from the side of Immortals is lots of these players either have had or will have opportunities to play in LCS, right? Arrow did it over Wild Turtle earlier in spring. We know Pretty is going to be doing it this weekend, and this is their chance to say, yeah, we know a lot of you guys have played in LCS, and if we can beat you, that's again another step going forward to saying, hey, we deserve our time to shine. And I feel like for Team Liquid, it's a roster where that's always the goal. Every single one of these players is good enough to not only substitute, but potentially upgrade some LCS teams tomorrow.
And that's what I was about to say. You can make an argument for pretty much anyone on the side of Team Liquid Academy that they deserve the spot in the
Harry.
LCS. Well, Harry is a little overextended, but keep in mind they have Armeo right behind them, getting a lot of damage on to Harry. He has to jump back to reality to make sure they snap down the kill onto Chad.
Yo, Armeo control jungler, he is the wall. He is preventing Chad from doing anything. You want to go for a spike, you gotta get it through Armeo. And again, controlling where Chad is going, stopping the red buff, preventing the gank in the mid lane. Armeo, one of these players, again, he's always been on the cusp, but if he's at this spot, what more can you really ask? He is controlling everybody in Academy.
And if he's controlling someone as aggressive as Chad too right out of the gates, that is telling you that Team Liquid are trying to live up to the undefeated record. Even if they lost 2-0 just last week, they still have the
Bradley?
strength, they have the power. Now Bradley, 1v1 against Vital, he's learned his lesson! And he was able to get the kill. Nice handshake on Yon in the bot lane with a flash in from Chad. Yon has no escape unless he wants to take one with him, and he could barely not manage it.
Barely not getting the last auto attack there, but this is a crazy game already. Bradley getting the solo kill top lane. Chad finally finding his first opportunity to get a kill in the bottom side of the map. He's helping out Arrow and Join, so we are not going to see Yon and Ayla with the same kind of dominant play right off the bat, but they're still fighting. Ayla trying to make sure this doesn't crash.
We're just having fights across the map right now, Joshi. Look at this. Another little skirmish mid lane. Pretty taking the worst end of the trade against Hayri. Bot lane, you got, even if it was Joey who ended up getting the kill, still killing Yon, forcing him out of lane temporarily, gets you back into the game. The only issue I really see for the side of Immortals is when we look towards the top lane after this play, because this was a great play.
Yeah, the handshake coming in from Joey, preventing Yon from getting over the wall, and the auto attack just too slow coming out from Yon. It definitely would have killed Arrow if it hit, but that's the kind of narrow margins that this version of Team Liquid are playing on. They're trying to show that they can play aggressively and defensively, and they still have a pretty large CS lead at this point. The mid lane is a little bit behind, but still, Team Liquid still have to be very happy with this game state.
As Arrow and Joey tried to reset, does put Arrow further and further behind in CS, especially because they crashed the minion wave without being able to take a plate, giving more advantage for Yon once he spawned. Get back into the lane, continue to dominate this matchup, especially since they're both fairly low range. But Yon knows how to pilot Zeri so goddamn well.
He's taking control as they crash this. This is a potential opportunity for them to do the dragon, and Armeo is doing that. He knows his bottom lane has control. He knows Pretty has just recalled. And when this kind of play comes through from Romeo, right? Like, he was fairly quiet last game, but this game, he's already making an argument that he's the main character. And I feel like we had a long conversation about how he and Acadian were constantly on the edge, how he and Acadian were constantly playing, like, on the same teams to prove themselves. Armeo's had a much better first showing than Acadian has thus far. And if you're starting to look at people you want, I choose John.
Well, and right now, Armeo is the defending champion from Spring. Having gotten that W last time, it was a 3-2 series, barely clawed it out, but that's a big statement for Team Liquid. This is one of the 2 teams that remained consistently together. And here, Bradley absorbing a gank easily from both Vital and Chad.
Yeah, ends up having to commit the ultimate, but he's still doing way better than he did in
He's still
game
standing.
one.
Yeah,
He's
look
still
at this.
standing. Yeah.
He's looking
He's got
fantastic.
the solo kill.
Yeah, and
He's got the solo kill. He's got everything he wants. He's got the Sheen. He's going to push this in, and there's no teleport for Vital to get back. So
Nope.
Bradley will have another small advantage there. But Jan and Ayla, remember last game when they were taunting Joey, who was on Tom Kench and couldn't really interact because he was a melee champion? We're going to start seeing that again as Arrow is low on HP and out of mana.
yeah, he's just barely trying to scrap back some CS. He's down 20 to Jan, essentially. Get some minions there, it gets 1 cannon, but you're still pretty far behind Jan, who you killed in lane.
They're looking for the same play as well, all right? Jan looking around the corner saying, are you guys going to back lazily
Fool
once
me
again
once,
now?
fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That is what Immortals are pretty much looking at there. They understood. They're like, yep, you can't get us a second time.
Watching Ayla play, I constantly credit Smacks with telling me about this aftermood quote, but the way that you're supposed to win matchups as enchanters in general is, you know, you dodge the hook, and then you walk up and auto-attack them twice. And we saw Ayla do exactly that, right? He dodges the handshake, and then he just hits Joey a couple of times, and calls it a win. And this is kind of why we are starting to see Jan and Ayla go from being, you know, a pretty good bottom lane in Spring to kind of unarguably the best that we've seen so far in Academy.
And at the moment, they have a gold lead, a gold advantage over their opponents. Pretty much every single lane has an advantage for Team Liquid. It has been slow incremental leads, but getting a kill top for Bradley by himself, or Mayo making sure that he can answer a play in mid. It's answering anything that Immortals could possibly throw at them. That's why Immortals need this to go well, but Team Liquid should be right in place.
Yeah, Jan's not here as is tradition, but Team Liquid, they want to fight this.
They do, and it shouldn't look too good. That's going to be all in onto Chad. He blast cones away. He'll survive. He could go back in, but they have to seed. They did so much of the work on to that Rift Herald. They couldn't continue the play. And now it's Joey, not level 6, but it will be an Emperor's Divide onto Armeo, forced to use the ult away. They got the kill. They can get the resets in from Chad to chase down Hayri. Even if they lost that Rift Herald, they've come out with 2 kills.
Okay, oh, Jan going right on in.
Ult for ult right now, looking at a lot of damage. Jan battling back, he used the heal. Does Arrow have the damage? He's ticking down to poison. Jan will die, solo killed by Arrow. When we go top lane too, what the hell's going on? They're just fighting all across the map. Bradley survives, gets the parlay back and heals up with the help of that Grasp of the Undying, but support combo, it's a lot thrown at each other. An ult put back with the low health target on Bradley, but they can chase down Joey. They've split up the fight, or can they? Joey's damage onto Bradley is absurd at this point. He can even look for more, but with the oranges, he's A-okay.
Oh my god. Remember we were talking about the montage, but still, Team Liquid are able to find a couple more kills. Bradley is there, but we are starting to see a very different game. We've been talking so much about Team Liquid. Now let's give Immortals the credit where it's due. This is the fighting game that I was expecting to see in the first one as well. Pretty actually has a CS lead up against Harry. Even last game, he wasn't able to do that. Chad now able to participate, and Arrow winning his duel up against Jan. Every single time we're seeing that this time Immortals are here to play.
Well, it's what you had talked about, the backloaded damage of Twitch that ended up biting Jan in the ass right there. Makes it so he dies for the second time in this game. He's still got a sizable lead, but this can be translated across the map by Immortals. They no longer have to worry about the bot lane. They can get the kill, but Vital will die to the turret. As Shad now in a bad spot, the TP that came in from Harry, as Chad gets a lot of damage on top of him, trying his best to be able to fight back, utilizing the ult to make sure that Chad does not get out of there alive, while bot lane, this is kind of what we talked about, why Immortals were feeling confident make that top lane play, because Arrow is now 2-0.
Yeah, and Arrow, once you start getting ahead on this Twitch, it is so easy to take over the game because you are so good at picking your fights. Now let's hark back, right? Arrow, as somebody who has such a long history of doing well in League of Legends, he had some opportunities to play at LCS, but most recently last week, he had, I think it was like 7-9 kills on the Callista. He was getting caught out. He needs to show that he is going to be able to pick his fights in a way that is going to find advantages for Immortals, because despite the fact they are 6-6 right now, they're still down 3,000 gold.
That's a worrying trend, is that despite all these plays, the proactivity of Immortals, they can't net themselves any kind of lead. They lost that Rift Herald. They've lost themselves control around the top half of the map, so Vital now is struggling. He's down 20 CS against Bradley, who's dominating this matchup that he was able to get the counter pick. Bradley downloaded how Vital plays this Fiora and has punished him thusly.
Yeah, but again, it's Twitch. Ignores a lot of the setup that Bradley does. But he just like runs away. He just he's just not there for the barrels, right? Twitch just waits. He has so much control over when he actually takes these fights, over who he's able to hit. And this is a situation where he can look to be aggressive. And Team Liquid, they're jockeying for a position, but I don't know if they know where Twitch is.
No, they don't, and that's why they're all grouped together. That way, they can turn immediately for Twitch. But he'll de-spotted it in the bot lane, giving a little bit more confidence to the side of Team Liquid to look for this play and get the first damage onto Joey. Joey was able to at least cut the fight off for now, but all the while, Pretty had been dueling against Harry.
Yeah, and the discipline as well. They instantly see Twitch and they go. They're ready to start things off. They're so decisive. But Jan doesn't have a completed item. It has to be a little bit careful because they don't have all the tools.
Arrow is looking scary. He was pressing up forward. Harry gets a little bit of damage onto Vital on the other side. So there is a trade-up chunk of damage for each squad. Armeo hunting down and forcing Pretty away from the dragon that Team Liquid want.
Yeah, and with no ability to have the entire team brought to bear, it's going to be Team Liquid who take control. And now they're looking bottom lane. Arrow should be able to just walk out as he is going to be able to.
He spots Jan too, knows how low he is.
Jan.
He could potentially fight this one out, and he does. Jumps over the wall. This might secures the dragon on the other side. Well, Chad was able to get a little bit of damage onto Ayla, but with Ignite ticking now, he is looking low. Armeo wants to hunt down Arrow, understanding that's going to be the important person that they can kill. But Pretty, this flank, Emperor Divine scoops up Jan for an easy kill, but the Fate Seal nearly turned it around for the side of Team Liquid. They get one kill onto Pretty for it.
Pretty looks pretty darn good when he's able to come back and control the flanks, but Team Liquid were having an opposite game from Jan. 1-4, he was 4-1 at this time, but Bradley still getting a pretty big CS lead here in the mid lane. They're still going to be having a gold advantage after that, but Immortals, they're fighting back. Pretty is recognizing that there's an overextension from Team Liquid, cuts all of them off, prevents them from leaving, and keeping them right in range of where Arrow's actually looking to blow everybody up. He was down 20 CS earlier, but now he's even.
They got the jump out of Jan fairly early into this fight, so when Jan, I think he blast guns over, and that actually is his doom. He should have just booked it out of the fight.
Well, that's one of the things that we've been looking at so often is Team Liquid is generally so disciplined in these situations, but they go a little bit too far forward, and they barely have enough damage here on the backside to pick up Pretty. But that's something where the aggression that's coming through from Team Liquid can come back to bite them. They are still ahead as a team, but they need to be able to fight and choose their battles, right? Bradley wants to control a lot of space. He wants to be there early, and if he uses Cannon Barrage and hits a barrel onto Arrow, it doesn't matter that this Twitch is suddenly very strong. He will not be able to participate in the team fight. But we haven't seen those two characters interact yet.
Speaking of strong, Pretty was looking strong in that last fight, but he is getting picked off by the members of Team Liquid. They've got three built up in that bot lane for Ayla to steal it away with another Mantra Q.
Yep, and Arrow finding Jan.
He scares him away. jumped over the
I was
wall, the
hiding.
lightning jump away. We get a little bit of zap damage back, but really, you don't want to stay too long because you already know a play was made bot lane by Team Liquid, so there are many members nearby.
Yeah, there's definitely opportunities for them to rotate back on up, but one of the things that can be very interesting is in the course of a same series, if you're playing the same character, sometimes you kind of fall into the kind of like, yeah, I was really strong last game, I'm still strong, right? And it's like, oh, no, no. Jan is not able to do the same kind of things this game as he was the previous one, whereas Arrow, he's playing something different. It's a mental switch for a lot of players. You're saying, yeah, we had trouble before, but I'm ready to go. And Arrow, he's not necessarily been finding his own plays just quite yet. He's mostly just been relying on Team Liquid being too aggressive.
Well, I mean, that solo kill, I think, was him finding a play. But outside of that, I agree. And that's
Well, I
actually
mean,
kind
Jan hopped the wall into him.
No, he hopped. Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he? That's right. The next play is when he hopped away. Yeah. Okay, I can see that to you. That is true. But I will say that the proactivity still is lacking for Immortals across the board. And that's where I agree with you. Because you can see that the gold lead is still favorable to Team Liquid, with every single member of Immortals being behind their counterpart.
Oh. Yeah, Jan has to be so scared so much of the time, right? Arrow's not even opening up with the ultimate. He just like walks up, says, hello, I was hiding, and Jan has to back up. So Team Liquid, they typically don't have Jan for these Herald plays, either the first or the second one. But this time they are grouping up, and Harry is booking it in order to join.
He's also got TP, but they spotted out where Arrow is. They get everything blown as best they can onto Arrow because he is the Titan that they fall. And they've got the pick with the fight underneath the turret. Nice hostile takeover onto 4 members. They've got a lot of damage, but it's going to be Zeri's time to strike back. Looking for Vital. That's a fate unsealed onto Joey and seals his doom with 1 trade. Make it 2 trade. Back by Pretty. The play that looked good at first for the side of Team Liquid ends up going even.
Yeah, Team Liquid, they were so good at finding the discipline. They were so good at finding Arrow to start that fight. But once again, they are ignoring Prodromos Kvezetidis. He comes back on the Azir. He's able to lock everybody down, finds 2 kills for them, making yet another fight go even, Alex.
But the one saving grace for the side of Team Liquid in that fight is who got picked off. They picked Arrow, made sure that this Twitch could not get more kills funneled into him, while also getting more gold back for themselves into Harry. Now picking up a kill there as well as an assist. He's in a great spot to be the carry.
And the big thing that also is going to matter quite a bit is all the summoner spells and ultimates that are no longer available. Almost no big buttons are available in the upcoming fight because we're going to be going into a dragon situation very soon. There's no flash on the Twitch. There's not an ultimate that's going to be available for Azir. And so when people just line up and fight, it feels like something that might be really strong for Team Liquid, especially since they are in control first. They dare Arrow to walk in. They have control wards, and this Twitch, there's not a lot of space to hide.
But Pretty will have his ult up right now. He's barely been able to get the cooldown up in time for this dragon fight. And for the side of Immortals, they can't really seed this one because then you give that soul point potential to the side of Team Liquid, which can come back to bite you later on. That's why they're posturing for this waltz around the pit so aggressively.
Yeah, Bradley doesn't have his ultimate, but he's got barrels.
Oh, and look at Vital. He went deep into the enemy lines, used that Stridebreaker, but it was only to see if he could force off Team Liquid from the objective, which is now down to 50%. Healing up with the Honey Fruits a bit, but Vital's taking a lot of trade from Ayla, and it's going to be the smite secured by Chad on the other side. He's got that, but now can Immortals get out alive, or can they find the picks? They've got Ayla, that's a shutdown. Vital's in the back lane, he's got the Grand Jumps laid out, looking for Harry. He kites back as long as he can. It's only his death at the moment with Harry forced to use Fate's Seal just to get away. But it's underneath this tier 1 turret that still survives. Arrow is alive. Minions aren't in position, but they can easily set up a dive if they want to.
Armeo has his ultimate. Watch to see which angle they choose to fight it out. They have to try and do something. They can't just let this passively happen.
There's going to be the ult on to Joey, and he gets bailed out by his own bailout with Armeo now booking it away from the turret. Even if he used the ult to get Big Bear, Scary Bear, it's not enough to dissuade Pretty from chasing him down. Joey on the other side, he's getting flashed on. Well played by Armeo.
Okay, Armeo still remaining strong, and Chad might be caught by Ayla.
I think he is. They've got a bit of damage on to Armeo. It's a shutdown picked up by the bear. With that, it was an overextension from Immortals. It looked great at first. They got themselves the Dragon Steel. They got themselves a huge amount of gold shut down on the side of Team Liquid, but then they lose 2 off the back half.
It is remarkable that these games, or this game, remains so even in kills, despite the fact that Team Liquid has a gold lead. But good smite to Chad. That was really big to slow down the Team Liquid scaling opportunities. A smite comes through, and it's just better. But the big thing here, Arrow is unrestricted in his ability to hit. He can choose his targets. Pretty pulls people right on back, and nobody can stand up to the damage that Arrow is doing. When he's able to pick his targets, he is so strong. Nobody on Team Liquid has been able to get to him so far.
But here, it was well played by Team Liquid, even though they lose Harry, as to how much time they're biding for themselves, to wait to see if they can get members to spawn up, such as Bradley, who TPs into the fight later on.
Yeah, so as the game goes longer and longer, this Twitch is becoming more and more of a problem, right? He doesn't have the exhaust, but he does have the heals, so he's not necessarily as strong as Duelist, but he is an incredibly powerful team fighter, and Team Liquid haven't shown that they know how to get a hold of him. Oh,
Vital. Welcome to Academy. He's getting bullied around by the top side of Team Liquid. He's still alive, but the cannon barrage will at least force the bailout, so he'll die in the long set of the fight with Chad way too deep behind enemy lines, so he'll die as well.
Arrow can't hit.
By the side of
Arrow
Team
can't
Liquid.
hit.
Arrow can't hit. He's doing his damnedest, but it's a double kill for Yon, getting himself back in this game so they can chase down the remaining members of Immortals.
And Arrow can't hit, and that is the story for Immortals. Their AD carry is not in position. The rest of their team gets a little bit caught out, goes too far. Even Twitch's long range isn't good enough. Team Liquid, their ability to select targets so far in this game, their ability to control who actually gets to hit is second to none. And even though Ayla gets picked off here, they still win the main objective. They get the Baron. They're going to be back out on the map.
2 for 1 and a Baron on top of Team Liquid. You'll definitely take that. It's only the support losing the Baron buff. They can still set up the 1-3-1s for themselves.
Yeah. We gotta credit the people where credit is due. I talked to Ayla again. He says the people who are calling out targets like this, typically himself and Armeo. These guys, they are not only thinking for themselves. Armeo is not only 4-1-9, but he's also shot calling for his team. He's controlling when things are actually happening on the map, and he's helping some of the newer players stand in the right positions. He knows he's a good leader, and right now he's really showing that in a game that is so much more even, he is so much more impactful than he was before.
But Harry now looks like he's in a bad position. He's got to snap back at some point. And Arrow and Chad know this, so Harry goes deep, looks for the kill on to Arrow,
he gets
and
it!
Turns it around.
No way, Harry!
It's Harry showing up on Yon.
Oh my God, we're seeing Harry finally step up as well. He's had a fairly quiet couple of games, but this is the moment he comes online. We'll get back to it, Joey.
Joey's got a blast cone, but Armeo makes sure that he has to walk through the gate so they can then clean up the kill, potentially on him as he burns down the red buff. He's still barely alive. Freddy's getting a lot of damage, but he'll finally fall on the snipe from Yon 2.
And suddenly, it was so good, but Team Liquid are in control.
Okay, Vital gets one back for the team, but still, that does not mean that this game is not fully controlled by that of Team Liquid. They're harassing 2 side lanes at the same time, while Immortals, they've got some members to respawn afterwards, but it is looking dire.
It is such a different game between this one and the last one, but Team Liquid are now 10,000 gold ahead, 24, almost 25 minutes into the game. They have positioning on this upcoming Dragon. They already have 2 to their name. Vital on the opposite side, pretty still dead. Team Liquid are controlling everything across the board, and I'm just so impressed by the resiliency, the ability to continue playing. And Immortals, we were looking at Arrow, but just as in the game where he was close to, he had 9 kills, but he was targeted by their opponents. They're not able to get ahead. But Chad and Arrow, they still can't beat up on Harry. It's a 2v1. You have the Viego and the Twitch. The burst damage just isn't there. And Harry, with the Triumph procs, with all of the healing, is able to kill both of them with this late game Yone.
What a play from the Oceanic mid laner there. That was absolutely fantastic. And while the team is ahead regardless, it makes sure that they're not bleeding out or giving any small inches over to the side of Immortals.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah, we have to give credit again across to everyone. Right, Harry's been looking so much better in the second game. Even Jan, despite the fact he started this game 1-4, he's trying to make things happen. Now it's it's kind of biting him in the butt sometimes, but at the same time, Pretty. I'm excited because even though this game is getting out of hand, he's making good plays across the board. We know he's playing in LCS soon, and he's making a good argument that even as his map collapses around him, he's still going to be looking fairly good. He's able to support the rest of the team. He understands what picks he needs to make and move around the map in order to control where Team Liquid can and cannot go.
So then looking at Immortals, it's a 10,000 gold deficit they are at here at 26.5 minutes into this game. Well, it's not quite as dire as the last game when they fell behind so quickly and so vastly right out of the gates. I'm still worried that this game is looking like it's out of their control.
Yeah, I would be curious to know how far behind Immortals think they are, right? In this kind of game, when you're playing it, you don't feel like you're that far behind. Then you look at the scoreboard and you realize, oh, we are 0 towers to 6. Almost everybody has a CS lead on the other side. They have 3 dragons. Yep. Okay, yeah, I guess it makes sense that we are that far behind, but it doesn't feel that way.
They've been behind in the CS lead. Like, the CS difference has been like that since the very beginning.
Yeah. The one good thing, though, is Pretty did actually have a CS advantage, right? We always praise Harry for his ability to win lanes, even that he's not supposed to. But now, Team Liquid, they're grouping up down here towards the bottom lane. They kind of have a spidey sense, like, I think they're going to try and pinch off Harry here, but not going to be able to find that just quite yet. And Team Liquid going to be pushing bottom lane in a tour de force.
Well, it feels like for Immortals, that is the only gameplay they have left for them. Is catch someone out alone in a side lane and make it so that they can gain some of that gold advantage back. There are 3 potential players on the side of Team Liquid that have the bounty gold on top of them. Armeo, Harry, and Jan. And you better bet those 3 targets are who they're primarily focused on.
If they can actually find any of these players. If they can actually lock down Arrow, if they can lock down Pretty, Team Liquid will be able to end the game. But I still feel like this is a game that Pretty can actually look to carry. It's difficult for the members of Team Liquid to actually get on top of them. And as Team Liquid start controlling more space, they are now in control of the western quadrant of the map. They're preventing Immortals from walking up, and they are going to catch out Pretty, the one player who could not be caught.
It looks like instead of Immortals catching out someone, it was almost Pretty's fate to get caught out while Arrow hangs out on the side, was looking to see if there's a potential play elsewhere. But with how thick that Armeo boy looking right now, for 1-11, got a Knight's Vow and a Frozen Heart completed on top of him so he can defend the team even more. It means that they have full control of this Baron with only the objective bounty picked up by the side of Vital.
Yeah, I mean, Vital picks up something, but something is not a lot right now as Team Liquid, with everything they could ask for, are now going to start pushing. Oh, I thought Jan was going to try and challenge Arrow there, because again, if they find Arrow, that's it.
I thought the same too, especially because Pretty was still making his way out of the base, but they're slowly trying to see if they can regroup with Vital, who was not quite able to take that tier 2 in the bot lane for more objective gold bounty for the team. Instead, they're looking for the potential fight. Oh, but Arrow, what happened there, buddy?
Lots of damage coming through, and suddenly a flank. Oh my gosh, the crit coming through from Jan. Absolutely nuts. I feel like they are in such a strong position now. They're fighting Vital. No, they don't. Just barely missing out, but Team Liquid.
Yeah, they already take down that the inhibitor turret in mid lane. So there's one structure fallen. All they have to do is replicate that in the side lanes, and they've got an open base of Immortals.
Yeah. Bradley controlling space, Ayla controlling space, preventing Chad from ever walking close to the infernal Dragon Soul. Team Liquid are ready to call this one done and dusted. They are grouping up on the bottom side of the map, and as Armeo solos this out, they just make sure that Immortals cannot do anything, and this is what is my favorite part about this team. They prevent you from doing anything. They slowly strangle you, and Chad looking for a flank. The only person he can get onto is Jan, and Jan can hop over walls.
And that's, I think, the big issue that we're seeing for Immortals. That, and they're getting chunked out, so Joey just gets burst down for stepping up to defend the turret.
And as he goes down, it's now a 4v5 Team Liquid in total control. They're looking to play in the mid lane, they're looking to play in the bottom lane, and they're not grouped on Immortals.
No, they're just looking to get the game ended for them. They've got everything possible as they take down many members, only missing out on Vital and Chad. Well, Chad might be the next casualty underneath the steps of his own fountain. He'll die to the Karma Q. Double kill for Ayla. 2 games in a row are going to be won by Team Liquid Academy. The first one in dominant fashion, but the second one nearly as dominant. They've had control of the lane states. They've had control of the team fights. And here they will topple again Immortals Academy at the steps of their fountain. Not even really caring to end the game, just wanting to pad the KDAs first.
Absolutely crazy stuff. Even when they fall behind in the bottom lane, even when Jan isn't having an insane game, he's still able to stand tall. Every single person on Team Liquid has been looking so good this series. And again, if you are looking for people to play on your LCS team, what more does this team need to do to impress you? They won a game in 18.5 minutes. They came back from giving a Twitch 2-0-2 in kills. They gave over so many opportunities for Immortals to come out ahead, and Team Liquid still won. Not because they were fighting better, but because they controlled the map and prevented Immortals from getting the side lane money that they needed.
Any teams watching these games in the future, just ban Zeri. Just don't let Jan have it. Doesn't matter if you put him behind, he'll eventually still get out of control.
I feel like that could be said for a lot of things, right? This is still Bradley. I think he's 10 games in a row now that he has won on Gangplank. Harry has won twice now on the Yone into Azir. He's been looking darn good on it. Armeo, he banned away half of his own champions and he's still winning on the Volibear, right? Like, what do you ban against Team Liquid to find an advantage? You have to know what your style is and play to it. You can't just try and get Team Liquid off of comfort. It's not enough.
And we'll see that in the scoreline, 2-0 for Team Liquid over that of Immortals Academy. Well played games, but it was always Team Liquid that had the lead and had the advantages. So they'll take that victory. We're going to toss to a break. When we come back, our host Sierra will be here for a lovely interview. Make sure you stay tuned.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our post-game interview. I'm sitting down with Ayla after that 2-0 victory. Soft, it's good stuff. It seems like Academy has been starting off to a strong start. How are you feeling that Academy's been going so far?
Um, Academy, I think we're really happy with how we started off the split. It was much better than last split because obviously I'm here full time now, and yeah, we've gotten
Yeah.
a lot of 2-0s, and besides the CLG series, I think we've looked very strong. So very good start for Team Liquid Academy so far.
Yeah, you and the rest of the team have looked so good so far at the beginning of the split, and specifically this bot lane. I mean, you and Yawning together are incredible. Is that something that you two also feel on your end? Do you know that you're just this unbreakable duo?
Yeah, I think both of us are really confident right now. This is our second year playing together, so we've worked together for a long time. I think both of us are just really good individual players, and then when we combine it together, it's like we feel unstoppable. So yeah, we're very confident right now in our skill, and I hope we've been proving it so far.
Well, it's nice that you don't have to really focus on, okay, I have to play with different people, new people. We played together for a while, so I can focus on your own skills. So, what is it that you want to be focusing on next for yourself, or an area of improvement that you really want to hammer down heading into it this season of Split?
I think a big thing I'm trying to work on is just how I approach my practice. So I think skill-wise, there's not a lot of players in the academy who challenge me. So I have to find other things to work on, and yeah, I think that's just figuring out or like refining my practice so that I'm very prepared for when I go to LCS. So like my approach to solo queue, champs queue, and all that, I'm currently in the process of figuring that stuff out. But yeah, I think there's a lot of individual goals that I have to put on myself to put pressure on myself to improve, and yeah, hopefully I can do that.
Well, something interesting that you just said was when you get to LCS, not if. So, safe to say that you have the full confidence that, all right, Academy, LCS is next, going to be a top player, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, I've had my sights on LCS ever since I came to NA. So yeah, I'm very confident in myself right now. So yeah, for me, it's a matter of when, not if. And I just have to be the most prepared I can be so that when the time comes, I will perform very well.
I mean, you're definitely someone that we're all watching as our one of our players to get to LCS next, because you've been incredible, and the whole roster has been incredible too. Joshi was even saying that Team Liquid as a whole, you could take this whole roster, put it right into LCS, and actually have a fighting chance. Do you think so as well, with the skill that everyone on Team Liquid has?
Yeah, I think definitely for sure we could challenge a lot of the LCS teams. I think maybe players on our team don't have the best reputation, but I think we're like way better than what people say. So yeah, I think the reason why we play so well in the academy is because we're just really good. And I think if we were to be in LCS for some reason, I think everyone on our team would do just fine.
Well, I mean, what we've seen has been incredible, and I cannot wait to see tomorrow how you're going to do and just throughout the split, because your journey has been amazing so far. Before I let you go, is there any shout outs, any final words that you want to say to the audience?
Just shout out to all the fans. I appreciate you guys watching us, and I hope you guys enjoy the journey. We're gonna go for another academy win. So just watch us perform throughout regular season, and then watch us destroy everyone in proving grounds.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me. Have a great rest of your day, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. It's for us. Head back over to the desk to wrap up today's broadcast. I mean, Joshi, you did say that it was going to be a strong fighting 2-0, and Immortals, they have some fight in that second game as well. A game that was almost twice the length of the first one. It was some good stuff.
Yeah, that's a little bit closer to what I was expecting, but I'm still gotta fanboy over such a team that has been playing so well this split so far, with
Oh, yeah.
only one day where they haven't shown up in the same kind of level, right? 18 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it doesn't matter. We're going to see Team Liquid continue to dominate. Ayla said it himself. They might not have the best reputation, which I'm not sure why people don't think super highly of them, but they are really, really good.
Who doesn't think highly of them? They've won Proving Grounds last split. This is a team that remained intact going into this split and already are showing that they are probably one of our top teams in Academy. Obviously, we haven't had that much gameplay just yet to really be able to say definitively they're the top team, but they're already making a showcase from it.
There's always going to be some haters. There's always going to be some doubters out there, but I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that when Ayla says, "Oh yeah, when I get to LCS, oh yeah, we can perform," like that, it's actually 100% true. This is a team that, even when the games are going out a bit longer, just the unparalleled skill that each of them have, Magical.
I mean, across the board, right? Looking at even that second game, Jan 1-4 at one point. I think even 1-5. He was pretty much down and out. At least it looked that way. But he was able to battle his way back into the game. I think he ended the game like 7-7, which is still a lot of deaths for an ADC. But the fact that he was able to get to that point in the first place is impressive. And how he plays with Ayla when it comes to the team fights, how they position, make sure that they could try to set him up for victory. And that's just the bot lane. Let's not even talking about how well Hayri played in the series. The 2v1 outplay that he had in bot lane on Yone with literally double-digit health that he finds the kills is downright dirty.
Yeah, and the one player that you haven't really talked about that I want to highlight is Bradley. If this had been a best of one, he didn't. He was in game 1, right? He participated. Right. But in game 2, he turned it around. He was really not doing well in the first game, but he really was able to turn things around in the second game, finding a solo kill, going from a significant CS deficit to a lead, landing all the barrel combos he was missing. It just took him a little bit to figure it out, and he came right on back swinging. So this is a team where every single piece is ready to move up. Every single player is figuring out what they need to do, and Bradley, somebody that we used to say was not the best laner, is really kicking it up.
He's good at Gangplank, that's for damn sure.
That's very true.
Yeah. Well, as we're getting to the end of the day over on the Path to LCS channel, I'm going to ask you two real quick before we sign off. It's a quick little recap. What was your favorite part of the day so far? Joshi, what was your favorite part?
Probably my favorite part was the play that Magical expected me to say was the most impactful. Watching Jan and Ayla just get the perfect timing on splitting up the bottom lane and finding that kill, that requires a lot of discipline. And while it wasn't the biggest lead they instantly found, the fact that they, one, recognized the play, went for it, and executed it is something that you don't normally see at this level. It's the kind of thing that is going to force everybody to level up or be left in the dirt.
Yeah, that is for sure. Magical, what about you?
Hayri's 2 kills by himself, 1v2. Gotta be that.
That's pretty good too.
Yeah. As a play-by-play, I gotta like the exciting, the hype ones where it's like Knife's Edge, looked like he would die at any moment, was burning to red buff at some point, and then the Triumph stack, first off, makes it so he could turn around the next fight to get the second Triumph stack and barely survive while getting a double kill by himself. Very good stuff.
Good stuff all around. That's a good sum up for the stream today. Good stuff. Don't worry, though. There is going to be another day of Academy tomorrow. For anyone who's missing out, sad that the stream is over, so make sure to stay tuned, of course, on the Academy channel and the Path to LCS channel. And if you want more League for tonight, too, I believe the Academy channel is still going, so make sure to go send some love over there. It's not over yet. We had Team Liquid over here, and Team Liquid, we know, likes to try and end the games in under an hour, so we can all get on with our evening, so we'll all have time to watch Marcel and the others. It's going to be great. From us, though, want to say thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Production, amazing. Joshi, Magical. Well, Joshi, it's been a pleasure. Magical, it's been something. I cannot wait.
You know what? I never even got to show off that this sweater has like a giant anchor on it. I'm like so sad because it like cuts off, so you don't even get to see that.
Oh, sorry. Oh, well, maybe an outfit that you can see, you know, more of the tomorrow, because, well, I'll see you then.
I'm a talking head. There's not much you can see beyond that. Do you want me to put a bow in my hair?
Yes, please.
Oh.
Yeah,
well, I guess I gotta wear a bow tomorrow.
Right behind the ear.
Okay, we're trying to wrap up, guys. I cannot wait to see everyone back here tomorrow for another great day of Academy, but until then, have a fantastic rest of your evening. Peace out.